Hey, it's Mary and I'm back with another scrapbooking layout process video. Today I have some fall pictures and I have some fall ephemera because I am totally in a fall mood right now. This week for SpiegelMom Scraps, we are scraplifting Jen Gagne, who is Kay's mom over on Instagram. And that was the layout that I am inspired by today. So first of all, I've got this gossamer blue, really beautiful fall leaf paper that actually came with a stamp set as well. And I'm going to be kind of whiting out the background. And first I'm going to try using acrytones. And that didn't white it out as much as I wanted it to, so then I just grabbed out my gesso and whited it out even more. So as soon as I get that done, I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to work on the next element of my layout, which is these beautiful Recollections fall leaves. They are, some of them are layered with, it's like a fabric, it's a sheer fabric over the top, but I wanted a mixed media on top of it. Some of them have gold writing on it, and some of them are whiter than the other. Anyway, I just love the variation in these, and I wanted to use just the whole pack. I really loved how Jen had used all of the flowers and the rainbow colors, and so I wanted to mimic that as my layering. So I grabbed some shimmers, and I got the teal Well Blooming Down, and the pink, which was Cotton Candy, and No Yolking, which you'll end up seeing me use in Glorious Day. So with everything, because I wanted it to be fall colors, I muted everything down with Glorious Day, which is like a golden brown color with some yellow in it, like a yellow ochre almost. And so I wanted to use that as kind of my base for all of my colors. So instead of doing the rainbow colors, I ended up doing just those three kind of pinks and yellow and blue or teal muted down as my layer base. So there's where you see the no yoking, and then I mixed it in with the Glorious Day. The other thing too is that I used, so Cotton Candy was a spritz, which has less shimmer in it, and COLORINGZ, the other two colors were COLORINGZ, and those have no shimmers in it. So the Glorious Day, which is a VIBEZ, has a lot of glimmery shimmers in it. So it made everything pretty shimmery by mixing the two together. So that's kind of a trick for you if you have bright colors but you want to mute them down. Glorious Day is a really good kind of base to water or to mute them down a little bit, if that makes any sense. So some of these little leaves that I got from Recollections, Michael's brand, they didn't soak in the colors as much, and I don't know why. So I ended up just like pulling off a lot of colors, and then I left it a little bit longer after I put down some colors. Anyway, it turns out great in the end, and I really liked how it turns out. So I'm going into my fall drawer, and I haven't gotten any fall collections yet for this year. So I'm working on the stuff that I had from last year, and this is Pink Paisley Cedar Lane, and I have just the 6x6 paper pad. I ended up making some DIY embellishments last year that I didn't use all of on my fall layout, so you'll see that being pulled in as well. And I got the idea to stamp these fall leaves on some of the Cedar Lane paper, and I didn't like how that leaf looked. So I'm going to go ahead and try this really fun looking flower. This is just from a generic stamp set. I don't even know what the name is or the brand is. And this is the gossamer blue leaf stamp that came with that paper. It was a kit that I had purchased last year at a, what do you call it? Like a conference event type thing. What do you call those things? You know, when they have a bunch of vendors come out. Anyway, Kira and I went last year, and for those that you don't follow us on Create, Craft, Repeat, I share my YouTube channel with my friend Kira, and one of the first things that we did together as friends is went to this convention for scrapbooking, and this is the kit that I had purchased. So I'm finally using it. So sorry, you guys, if you hear me sniffle or cough, and my voice probably sounds really weird because I am battling a cold. So I'm taking the same techniques that I used on the leaves, and I'm putting it down on the paper to give myself a starting point. And you're not going to see much of the mixed media at the end, and I kind of knew that going into it, but I wanted there to be that color underneath where, like if there was blank space behind leaves, you would still see the mixed media color. That kind of really helped everything flow together. So yeah, now that I have that done, voila! I just placed everything down to get an idea of where everything should go. And I also at this point didn't know if I liked the stamped images. So I'm going to place my photos down, figure out where they go, and everything from Jen's layout was kind of nestled in between the flowers. And she had several pictures go down that diagonal line. But I had these 5 pictures and I wanted one of the pictures to be bigger, so I did it a little bit differently. It's still kind of the same concept. I also like how the grid broke up all of the organicness of the leaves and the flowers and all of that. And I decided I did like this stamped image look. I liked that extra pop of something that wasn't realistic because I had some realistic leaves and I had realistic flowers in there. So I liked kind of the less realistic look to break up the natural that was going on. I also grabbed some chipboard and ephemera from the Maggie Holmes Gather collection that came out last year. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and glue everything down, but I'm not going to make you watch it all. You're welcome. And so I just kind of glued everything down along the edge of the watercolored mixed media, and then I'm going to pop everything up on foam so that it has the same height as some of the dimension in the flowers. So once I have all the pictures down in the spots I want them to go, I go ahead and I take some DIY embellishments. So the flower that I put down here was a DIY embellishment that I had made out of some book paper. And then some of the other flowers that I have are like Prima flowers. This flower that I have in my hand right now, that one is a DIY embellishment as well that I had done at the same time. And I can leave a link below. I believe that I did a process video for this last year. It was one of the very first process videos that I had ever done, if I did, because we're coming up on our 1-year YouTube anniversary. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway, back to what I'm doing. So I'm just going to stick those stamped out fussy cut flowers around the page and some flower embellishments. It just really turns into this full-on bed of flowers that the pictures are laid into, and I really kind of like how that turned out. So the story behind the pictures is we were out blowing leaves and we borrowed our friend's leaf blower because we had a ton of leaves. Everything all came down like on one weekend. And so Cameron, my husband, was chasing the kids around with leaves, and you'll see more of a close-up towards the at the end of his face. But in the middle picture, all the way to the left of the picture, you just see the edge of the leaf blower and then the edge of his face. So you really got to look for it. And the look on my kids' face is hilarious. They're just like, Dad's going to get us, because he was, blowing leaves in their direction. And so the rest of the pictures are kids like, they're throwing leaves up in the air, and then Cameron came over and blew the leaves up in the air. So they were making even more of a mess than picking them up, but it was so much fun. And I just used a couple of pieces of chipboard from the Gather collection. One says Little Moments, and then another one says Together, and that's going to be my title. So Little Moments Together. Yeah, and I've almost got everything all glued down. So once I get everything all glued down, I kind of come back in and assess everything and fiddle around a little bit more. I pop up the chipboard on some foam because the picture was on foam, and so it was going to lay kind of wonky if I didn't do that. And then I think I'm going to grab some thread. Oh no, I'm going to switch around the flowers. I guess for some reason it was bugging me that the DIY flower was on the left and not on the right. Oh yes, so I'm going to grab some sequins. So I chose to use the Sequins Mix Morning Glow, but I only used one sequin type from that pack. And they're really beautiful. They're clear, but they have like a pearlescent finish to it, but it's a very, very subtle pearlescent finish. So it kind of looks like little dewdrops on the page. And I really liked the subtlety. And I thought about, you know, in the blue section, just putting the blue down, and in the yellow section, putting the yellow down, and the pink, put the pink down. But I really, really like how the pearlescent clear sequins looked in the end. Again, I mean, I had so much going on in this background, and it just really exploded towards the end. And if I had to do it again, I probably would have like squished it a little bit more, but I think it turns out fine. It's not my favorite, but I do like it. I'll keep it. And then these are some little wood, probably table scatter that you can get at Hobby Lobby or Michael's that I had picked up last year, and I just thought I would go ahead and put these little wood veneer leaves in. And then I'm going to decide between gold or rose gold for thread, and I'm going to make a couple of thread nests, and I decided to go with the rose gold. I thought that really coordinated well with, there was a button that was more of like a rose gold color in one of my DIY embellishments, plus the pink, so it really tied in well. And it popped off of the yellow more than the gold would have. So I'm going to fiddle around trying to tuck everything in with the thread here. I just used like a popsicle stick. They're like the rub-on things that you use to, the wood sticks that you use for rub-ons. And I just kind of used that instead of my fingers so I didn't get glue all over my fingernails. And I'm going to come back in with some more of the shimmers to bring in some more of the watercolor because like I had said at the beginning, the mixed media kind of got covered and I wanted a little bit more peeking out along the edges. It wasn't too big of a deal. Like I could have skipped this step, but I think it just added enough that you could tell that there was some mixed media behind there instead of having to really hunt for it. And I just made sure to, you know, dilute it a little bit with the Glorious Day again so that it wouldn't look like I was putting on a new color. It would blend in with the colors that I had used previously. And I'm going to go ahead and cover my photos, and I'm going to come in with each of those colors and splatter some along the edge. Yeah, so I hope that you guys get a chance to participate in this challenge of Scraplifting Jen. She has, like I said, her Instagram account, and it's K's Mom on Instagram. And you can also check out her blog. She does a lot of traveler's notebooks. And don't forget to head on over to the SpiegelMom Scrap Shop where you can get some pretty sequins or some SHIMMERZ products if you need them. And I have some close-ups coming up for you at the end. And don't forget to use my code, which is at the very end of the video, for a 15% discount on your purchase. Alright guys, talk to you later. Bye.